Okay, so it's getting near lunch, and we've sat and listened to a lot of great research and all of that. I'm from the Brain Fitness Club. We are located, we are an organization that helps other organizations to provide brain fitness programming for individuals. All right, for individuals who are already experiencing Alzheimer's or other forms of dementia and are experiencing memory impairment. So we have cognitive fitness and physical exercise and all of that. But what I'm here today to talk to you about, as a registered nurse, I've been helping people with memory impairment for the past 28 years. I've had a lot of experience. And you all may be providing different types of caregiving to different individuals, but I know over the course of the time I've worked with caregivers is you often don't take care of yourselves. And so I'm here to say we need you to take care of your brains. And so what I'd like to do is share with you a little bit about the importance, I'm going to get over here where I can reach this, the importance of balancing your life for brain health. And so I'm going to skip some things because they've already gone over it. And because I want to shorten my presentation so we get right to lunch. But one of the words I haven't heard, I don't think, I've tried to listen closely, is neuroplasticity. Who can tell me what neuroplasticity is? Now I'm not going to just lecture. This is about you sharing with each other, and I'm going to facilitate a sharing. So who can tell me what's neuroplasticity? Right back there.
The brain changing itself.
The brain changing itself. Great definition. It's the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections. We had some great pictures up there before about the synaptic connections. Helps if I can talk. And that it's important that we grow those over the course. So neuroplasticity. What's neurogenesis? Right. Now, if any of you took your biology class, whether it's high school or college, prior to 1997, I know I did, you were taught that you were only born with so many neurons, and over the course of your lifetime, they were going to die off, and there wasn't a thing you could do about it. That's what we were taught in biology, right? Wrong. All right? You can go back to those teachers and tell them now that it has been proven they were wrong. We now learned that our brain can generate new nerve cells, and one of the areas of the brain that does produce new nerve cells is your hippocampus. Now, who can tell me what your hippocampus is? It's the memory center of your brain, all right? So we've heard a lot of terms up here, but I'm just throwing out some new ones for you. So hippocampus is in your inner cortex, and it's mainly controls the memory center of the brain. So neurogenesis, you already just said it. So I'm going to flip through these slides pretty quickly, but you already said what it was. Today I'm going to focus on, this is an older book written by Paul Nussbaum. He has written several books on brain health. And I want to focus on the 5 critical factors of brain health that he talks about in that particular book. And what we're going to talk about today is the importance, and we've heard this on with our other speakers, is the importance of physical activity, mental stimulation, socialization, nutrition, and what he defines as spirituality. Right in the plane here. And what he defines as spirituality. But I like to stretch his definition and use the word de-stressing, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. What I want you to do just for a few seconds here is think about that list. Think about what you personally do in all of those key areas. Is there one of those that you can go, yep, I do that, and is there others of those up there that you go, I could work on that? That's what this presentation is about, is that you can't just do one of those areas and have a healthy brain. You have to have a balance in all of those areas. And what I want you to think about today as we go down through this, and we're going to do it fairly quickly, is what can I add to my life that will help me to balance? What am I going to hear here today to help me balance this? So here we go. We're going to talk first about what do you do for physical activity. Somebody yell out to me. What do you do? Walk, kayak, swim, lift weights, play tennis, karate, dance.
I just figured I'd throw it out. Let's see what happens.
Play a musical instrument. We'll get back to that too. And what you're going to find is not everything fits in only one category. You're going to yell something out, and it's going to fit in more than one of those categories. Okay? So, all right, you heard some things, and maybe some of you said, "Oh, I hadn't thought of doing that in a while," and you can jot some notes down as you hear what other people say. Now, this list I'm going to give you is not all encompassing. Some of the things you said are not up here, but I'm just going to throw out some ideas that came from Dr. Nussbaum's book. So I heard somebody say walk. Walking is important. At our Brain Fitness Club, everybody is issued a pedometer. We try to be as evidence-based in our program as possible. We heard about what that term evidence-based means earlier. We try to have as much evidence to what we do. There is good research that indicates, there was a study that was done that said people who walk 30 minutes 3 times a week have less memory impairment than people who don't walk. There was a second study that showed that people who wear pedometers walk more than people who don't wear pedometers. How many of you have your pedometers on right now? All right, yeah, we're learning, aren't we? Now, don't get out there and go, I gotta buy a pedometer, and it says on there, I gotta walk 10,000 steps a day. Phooey! What you do is you find out what's your normal, and then you try to go a little bit more than that. So your pedometer, and I worn one for years, I now use an Apple Watch to monitor that. I'm sitting back there today, my Apple Watch is jiggling and saying, it says, stand up. It means I've sat too long, okay? Yeah, I don't know if any of you have ever seen these gizmos, but there's other products like it. And they'll tell you, you sat too long. You need to get up and move. All right, so walking is one thing. Dance, I heard this gentleman say, dance is a great exercise. You have a local, a woman here in Tampa that I've known for a number of years. I got my start in dementia care right here in Tampa. Dr. Lori Barkley is a nationally ranked ballroom dancer as well as a neurologist. So she's retired from her neurology practice now. Gardening, I didn't hear any of you say gardening, but getting out and gardening is physical exercise. Who juggles in this room? Juggling the books. No, I'm not talking about that. That could be a cognitive exercise. Physical exercise. If you know how to Google, get on and Google it and get some 3 stars and learn to juggle. It is so much fun, and it has been shown to be good for the brain. I won't go into all details. We juggle at our Brain Fitness Club. Again, these are individuals already experiencing memory problems, and we're doing all this stuff to keep our brains as healthy as possible. We don't rely on the research that says that it works for people without memory impairment or works for people with memory impairment. We just say, if it works for anybody, we're going to try it. If it doesn't hurt you, we'll try it at Brain Fitness Club. Juggling, but don't do necessarily ball juggling, do scarf juggling. I should have brought my scars. Yeah, I can teach you in a matter of a couple of minutes. It's fun. How many of you play ping pong? Dr. Daniel Amen in his book says that ping pong exercises 5 areas of the brain. We have a ping pong table at our Brain Fitness Club, and our members have an opportunity to play ping pong. There's a place in California that actually is doing Alzheimer's therapy at a ping pong hall, where that's just what they offer is ping pong. So these are all things that you can add to what you're doing. All right, how about mental stimulation? We already, our great first Bernadette, our first speaker, talked a lot about mental stimulation, so I'm going to kind of go through this. I'm not going to read all this to you, because we've talked about it, so don't feel like you're missing anything. You've already heard it all. But what do you do for mental stimulation? Anything that makes you think. That's what I'm going to define as mental stimulation. What do you do? Sudoku.
When I go to the pool, I do exercises and I count in 5 different languages from 1 to 100 and then backwards.
All right, what she's saying is when you go to the pool, like the swimming pool, she also, while you're swimming?
No, I do physical therapy for my joints, for the upper body and the lower body. Takes me 1 hour.
Okay,
And I count each repetition. I do 50 of each.
Okay, so she's counting her repetitions of physical therapy in 5 different languages. There's some mental stimulation. How can we top that? Well, probably not, but let's keep going. What else do you do? I heard, play a musical instrument. Very mentally stimulating, yes.
Attending educational programs.
Attending this today, any educational program, yes. Somebody said something over here that I didn't capture. Crossword puzzles.
Singing in choir.
Playing words with friends. If you're not familiar, you do it on your phone. It's Scrabble on your phone, right? Kind of, sort of, yeah, okay.
I go to meditation for 1 hour almost every day.
Okay, meditation, and you're going to see that come up in another category also, okay? That's great.
Thinking when you're forming a new business.
Thinking when you're forming a new business. I'm doing that right now too. You talk about mental stimulation. Woo! Yeah. All right, keep going.
Watching Jeopardy.
Watching Jeopardy. Now, let's talk about that. You know, there was a study one time that showed that people who walk, when they did measured the activity in the brain, you have more activity in your brain asleep than you do watching TV in this particular study, but it depends on which show you're watching. So if you're watching Jeopardy and you're just sitting back there going, okay, yeah, that's not stimulating. When it's stimulating is when you're on the edge of your chair and you're going, answering it as fast as you can, right? That's mentally stimulating. Yes, keep going. Reading, great exercise.
Engaging in art creation.
Art creation, any creative, yes. All right, good. All right, this is fun. So you can see there's lots of ways to do this, and what we don't want to get too hung up on is you have to do exactly this, if you just do your crossword puzzles, or if you just do this. No, it's all of these things, and you want variety in your life. You want to try new things, new and novel. Dr. Nussbaum says over and over, new and novel. You know what he says is the number one thing you should do for your brain? Now I'm telling you stay balanced, and I do want you to stay balanced, but listen to this. He says the main thing he wants all of us to do is stay curious. Right? Keep asking why. How come? I wonder what makes that work. All of those things. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay, here we go. Learn a new language. You already said you already speak in 5 languages, but what about the rest of us? When kids learn a language, they use one part of the brain. When we as older adults learn a language, we actually use a different part of the brain to store that. So it's kind of interesting how the brain does all that. But you can learn a language at any age. You didn't have to do it in high school and college. So learn a musical instrument. All right. Brush off those keys of that piano and try it again. Or I love the recorder. They're so cheap. And do you know what a recorder is? Yeah. I used to play clarinet. Well, I don't have the amateur anymore to play clarinet, but I pull out that recorder. Plus, I can buy them for my grandkids and teach, and they play recorder with me, and it's fun. How about anybody ever played a lap harp? They're not real expensive. You can get them on Amazon.com. That's where I get mine. And the note sheets go right underneath. It shows you right where it's strung. You don't have to have a lot of musical background to play it. And yet they're beautiful, and you get all the old songs you love, and I just bought a bunch. My grandkids are enjoying it. Travel. I don't think did I hear anybody say that? I yesterday left Longwood, went to Lakeland for a meeting, then went to Tampa to visit my daughter, and then I drove down here, and that was like really overstimulating for me. that whole, travel can be really stimulating. Computer games. We had a great presentation this morning that showed that, Brain HQ has a lot of science behind it. They've been studying those products for a long time. There's lots of others, any of your apps on your phones and stuff. But I would say to you is that some of those I don't find as helpful when we get somewhat addicted to it. It's like 3 hours later, we're still playing the same game. That's not balancing. That's my concern about some of those solitaire and all those, is that you can just get stuck on it and you just keep playing it for hours. So I would just encourage to use them, but cut your time. So you're making sure that you're getting outside, you're doing all the other things you need to do. Reading, somebody already mentioned that, and then writing, journaling has been found to be very beneficial for the brain. Writing down your thoughts, writing letters, we're getting out of some of those good habits from the old days, I think. So, all right, let's see what else we have. Socialization. Human beings need to be with other human beings. That's been proven a long time ago. We need to be involved to grow and develop. We never stop growing and developing, no matter what age. Yes, ma'am?
Volunteering.
Okay, so here we go. She's right ahead of me. She's going to go right into
So I
it.
need a lot of volunteers.
All right.
Talk to us, okay?
AARP did a study, and I can't give you all the numbers, but all I can tell you is it was astounding the number of elders that are retired that are not volunteering. And then when you see the health benefits that the research has shown volunteering does, it's just, they did a whole presentation at the American Society on Aging Conference last year. So volunteering, very, very good for socialization. Yes? Dancing, again. So dancing's physical and it's social, right? Yeah. What else? What do you do for socialization?
Becoming part of a club.
Becoming a part of a club. We have to regularly meet. It forces you to get out because, oops, it's the third Thursday and it's time for me to go to club again, right? Yeah. Go ahead. Phone calls. Yes. If you can't get out of the house, or if you know somebody else that can't get out of the house, do phone calls. Our local Alzheimer's Association has a volunteer program where people with dementia call other people with dementia. And that's not a joke.
What did I just say? I don't know.
No, that's not a joke. Oh, you guys, that's not a joke. People with dementia have a lot of capabilities. And at the Brain Fitness Club, we only highlight capabilities. And they are very capable of calling each other and checking in on each other. Because you know what? Their friends have dropped off. They don't come to talk to them anymore. They don't visit them. And they can visit with each other. And one of the best things they say about the Brain Fitness Club is 2 days a week, 4 hours each day, is it's a place where people understand me. And they don't have to worry about it. I had one gentleman say, nobody here says, I already told you that. Everybody here accepts me when I forget. So, anyway, okay, so let's see what else we have. So take a class to socialize, join a club. You guys are getting the things here. Host or attend a party. Okay? Eat with family and friends. This is something that our society is going down on, and we need to come back to the family table again. You said phone, but Facebook and other social media can also Skype with people across the country, things like that, are all ways to socialize. But face-to-face intervention is the biggie. All right, nutrition. I'm not going to spend a lot of time. Dr. Nussbaum says that nutrition is important from womb to tomb. So my daughter that lives in Tampa is expecting her second child, and I'm up there going, okay, tell me what you're eating. Have you had your omega-3s? Because we got to get that baby's brain developing right now. So I'm already preaching to her, and she's like, yes, Mom, I'm doing it, Mom, okay. There are lots of different diet programs. The Mediterranean diet was spoken of this morning. Rush Alzheimer's Research Center did a study on the MIND diet. There's a few different diets out there. I think, again, it's a balance, and this My Plate is a government site that you can go on to just get some good information. But what do you do to help yourself to consume a healthy diet for your brain? Read a label, absolutely. If you can't pronounce it, you probably shouldn't eat it. Well, you know all those chemical things are in there, like, I can't say it. Wow, that's scary stuff, yeah.
Stay on the perimeter of the supermarket.
Shop the perimeter of the grocery store. Yes, yes.
Eat what's in season.
Eat what's in season. Yes, good. Good advice. What else have you heard about foods specifically that are good for your brain? Antioxidants, yes. Organics. Blueberries, I heard. Color, things of color, bright colored vegetables and fruit. Okay, lunch is going to be here, so we're going to keep going, so we'll move on through this nutrition thing, okay? So what are we looking for? You want to make sure you're getting high omega-3 fatty acids, your salmons, your cold water fishes, Walnuts give you omega-3s also. Lots of fruits and vegetables on your plate. If you looked at that picture of the plate that was a few slides back, half of the plate was fruits and vegetables. That's what you need to think about. Half of it should be fruits and mainly fruits. Mainly vegetables. We already heard today to reduce your intake of red meat. And here's one that I hardly ever hear from the audience, and that is the importance of water. Staying hydrated. At the Brain Fitness Club, we have a program where when they walk in, they get their bottle of water, just like we have bottles of water over here. Everybody's handed a bottle of water, and they have to finish that with it. They're encouraged. Nobody has to do anything, but they're encouraged to finish that bottle of water by the end of the day. And in order to do that, everything at Brain Fitness Club is geared to be fun, stimulating and fun. So all we do is every so often throughout the day, we just take our glasses, somebody raises it up, says cheers. That means everybody else raises their glasses, takes the lid off, and takes a drink. And it's fun, it's a way, and then we teach them techniques for like keeping a glass of water on the edge of the table, so every time you walk past the dining room, you're going to drink, strategies. Brain Fitness Club teaches a lot of strategies for people to stay healthy. But your brain is, and I will, different books will give you different percentages, but it's a high percentage fluid. If you are dehydrated, your brain is not thinking clearly. You have to keep it hydrated in order for you to think clearly. If you wait until you're thirsty to drink, you are already dehydrated. As we age, we feel less of a sense of thirst. When you were a kid and you ran around outside and you came in and oh, Mom, I'm thirsty. All right, nowadays, as we get older, that sense of thirst declines, and by the time you feel thirsty, you're already dehydrated. So you have to be on a program of drinking, not waiting to be thirsty, okay? All right, spirituality, turning inward to a peaceful existence is what Dr. Nussbaum calls. Like I said, I refer to it as de-stressing. So what do you do to de-stress? I think this is one area that I haven't heard much about in the presentations yet today. A lot of physical, mental stimulation, things like that. De-stressing is being found to be, it's coming stronger in the literature in regards to its importance in brain health. As I was doing all my driving, I listen to books while I drive. And I was just listening to a book that I'm really enjoying. It's called Boost Your Brain. And you can get it in a hard copy or you can get it in an audio book. And it's giving a lot of good information. But the importance of de-stressing. When you live a stressful life, you are releasing cortisol in your brain, and that actually shrinks your brain. It causes problems in your brain. And so you want to de-stress. A certain amount of stress is good. At the Brain Fitness Club, we tell our members, we want you to challenge your brain, not stress your brain. When that Sudoku gets too hard, put it aside, okay? They're going to pull me off the stage here in a minute. So what do you do to de-stress? Listen to music. I heard that. Go to church, did I hear? Exercise, see? Both places. Retire. Physical fitness, anything that is physical fit can also de-stress for some people. Yes. Meditation. Pray. Yes. Keep yelling. Something breathing. Yoga, breathing. Okay. I'm having a little trouble, sorry. Hiking, fishing, all of that physical, because, and being out in nature, there was a new study that was done on the impact of nature on the brain. Yes. Sex, yes. Yes, it's de-stressing. You're not going to shock me. All right, let's see what Dr. Nussbaum has. I heard prayer. There have been some studies that show that people who pray have less stress. Mindfulness meditation, lots of different meditations, but a lot more in the literature about mindfulness meditation. I told you that my watch told me to stand up while I was back there. I also have a breathing app on here that tells me to stop and do 1 minute of breathing. So it's sort of mindfulness breathing. Yoga, I heard said out there. Deep breathing. Does anybody know deep breathing to 4-7-8? All right, some people do. All right. So here we go. Put one hand on your chest and one hand on your tummy. All right? Now, everybody breathe. then you're gonna practice it yourself, because if I try to tell you, somebody might explode, we won't do that. Okay, so what you're gonna do is, you are going to, don't try it yet, I'm gonna tell you first and give you the instructions. You're gonna breathe in to the count of 4, you're gonna hold to the count of 7, and you're gonna breathe out to the count of 8. But why are your hands where they're at? Where your breathing should, what your breathing should do, and I can't hold this mic or do this. Okay, hold on. See if I can. Okay, see if I can still do this. Okay, so usually when we're kids and we start to breathe and somebody says, take a deep breath, we do this. Right? We do the chest. You know. All right, so don't do that. What you want to do is when you breathe in, your belly goes out, and when you breathe out, you bring your belly button back to your spine. So you breathe out. He just said it for us. It's diaphragmatic breathing. So you're bringing in the air clear to the lower lungs, and as you do that, that drops your diaphragm. You can't see me and have me do this. It drops your diaphragm, which extends your belly. All right. So right here. When you breathe out and your chest stays straight. So practice that for me. You're going to breathe into the count of 4, hold to the count of 8, 7, sorry, I can't count, and then breathe out to the count of 8. Do it again. You're going to breathe in to 4, hold for 7, out for 8. If you practice that regularly, it will help to calm you. People do this as a way to get back to sleep when they've woken up. Some of our members find it helps them. Yes? It'll get you lightheaded if you're not used to it. Right. So be very, gentle on yourself. I usually just do it 3 times with a new audience.
When you play an instrument, that's the way to breathe.
Right. So anybody that has played any kind of air instrument, woodwind or brass, you were taught diaphragmatic breathing. Yes. All right. And the last one on here is sleep. We underestimate the value of sleep. Sleep is when your memories are consolidated in your brain. You must sleep to consolidate your memories from the day. They say 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night are the most healthy. Everybody's different, but just know that we do need sleep. Sleep deficits or sleep problems can cause memory problems. I used to work on a diagnostic team, and we would have people that it was their sleep. All right, so those are the 5 critical factors. And boy, I've gone over my time here a little bit, but okay, you got those. What can you do today? Pick at least one of them. Think of something that you're not currently doing and apply it. Think small. Do something, don't overwhelm it because you won't keep up with it. Write it down. You're more likely to do it if you write it down. And get support from your family and friends. Now we're going to play some games. Can anybody tell me what this word puzzle says? Any questions? N-E questions. All right, so here we go. Let's play some brain games. Some of these are old and you might have seen some of them. Can you see past me a minute? I'm gonna go sideways. Okay. How many F's are in the following sentence? You're gonna have 10 seconds to read the sentence and count the F's. Are you ready? How many F's did you see? I've heard 4, 5, and 6. Which ones did you miss? Now these games are just to tell you just how silly our brains are. All right? Because you pronounced the V, they said don't count it. All right. Now I'm not going to do a test with you, but I want to give you one strategy, and it has to do with how do you remember words. All right. So, and if you go to the doctor and ask them to do a memory screen, oftentimes they do ask you to remember words. All right. So I'm going to ask you to remember 3 words, and I'm not testing anybody. So the words are going to be apple, elephant, and chair. Those are your 3 words to remember. Okay. Can you read this? New and novel. If you try to read upside down, it works your brain harder. So the human brain starts slowing down as early as the age of 25. Fortunately, you can keep it running at peak performance and even make improvements at any age. Just like your body, you can use it or lose it. One of the essential concepts of brain fitness is the building of brain reserve, which is also related to brain plasticity, or the brain's ability to reorganize itself and build new connections. At nearly any period in your life, you can strengthen your brain reserve by doing tasks that are novel and complex and stimulate a balanced variety of areas within the brain. So just doing things different. You know that if you read to yourself, read out loud, or have somebody read to you, you exercise 3 different areas of the brain. So there's different things to do. I tell people in our brain club, we say, reading a book, read the left page to yourself, read the right page out loud. Then go tell somebody what you read. So we do a wide variety of things. Can you read this? Amazing, huh? Yeah, and I always thought spelling was important. I want to take this one to my 4th grade teacher and say, see, it didn't matter if I mixed up those letters. Okay, let's skip the next one because the computer kind of messed it up. So we're just going to go on. Now, you don't have to tell me whether you can remember those 3 words or not. If you want to yell them out, you can. Alright, this is what I want to teach you, is that when you're asked to remember things, your brain can remember things silly better than it can remember real. So when you're asked to remember something like a list of words, the sillier you can make them and picture them in your brain and actually add action. I couldn't get a lot of action on here. But if you can kind of picture that elephant wobbling on that chair trying to hold that humongous apple, then that's going to hold in your brain longer than trying to chant the words. So it's just a memory strategy. And we teach our members a lot about using strategies, so I thought I'd throw that one in. All right, now, the next few slides, we're going to try, it's like that any questions one. They're going to be a wide variety, and they're going to have common phrases or words. Some people refer to these as rebuses. I've heard them referred to as wuzzles. So here you go. What phrase goes with this? Saved by the bell. Okay. Blood is thicker than water. The 80s. I heard somebody, I don't know. The 80s. The 80s. Growing pains. Must ask golfers in the room. Yeah. Anyone for tennis? That's a good guess, but it's not. What's the shape?
Bermuda Triangle.
There you go. Bermuda Triangle. All right.